been able to pick things up, especially defensively. Did it last game here. Why do you feel like you weren't able to go there tonight?
The offense was clicking. Our defense wasn't. That's literally what it was.
You've been through, pretty much everything you can be on the court at this point. JJ said you can't use it as an excuse, all the different starting lineups, all that. That's kind of part of the game.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, though, there's a certain number where you guys need to have the same guys on the floor for a certain amount of time for you to get to click at the level that you need?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not an excuse because you got to play the game that's in front of you, whatever the case may be, and you got to go out and execute. So, we try to do that. Obviously, we didn't. We came up short. We failed that in that aspect. So, we understand that the most important thing in this league is definitely health, and we just hope to get whole at some point.
What's the pathway for this group of players to be better defensively?
It's the same thing I've said, before. It has to be 5 guys on the string, and these guys also made a lot of mid-range contested twos too. And those are part of our keys that we're willing to give up. It's the fast break points, it's the second chance points, it's the open threes that we do not want to give up. But this is a good mid-range shooting team. Book hit some. The kid Boye off the bench hit some. Dylan Brooks hit some. They played exceptionally well. So you give them kudos to that.
They're a team that kind of sort of, and there's a handful in the league that just kind of like inherently play pretty hard every night. It's a part of what they are, and you guys kind of reach those levels every once in a while, but like you do it differently. Where do you think this team is at against those types of energy teams, and how big of a challenge is that for this group?
Well, every team is constructed differently, obviously. Personnel kind of dictates how you can play, how you would like to play, how you would like to execute. I think we've had some good times, we've had some bad times throughout the season where we've matched the energy of a lot of teams that play like this, and sometimes we haven't, and it's resulted in either a win or a loss. And quite frankly, sometimes you also play extremely hard like that, and you still don't get it done. Like the other night versus the Clippers, I mean, we not saying that they're on the same, they play the same way as the Suns, but we went out and played as hard as we could, and we still just came up short. So you just try to take, you take the bad, you look at some of the good from each and every game and see how you can get better from it.
Injuries can kind of create like a whack-a-mole situation in terms of trying to figure out, what you're missing from the lineup. But how can you make sure that that doesn't discourage the group and still kind of be growth mindset and knowing that, yeah, some of the circumstances here are our control, but there are other things that we can still
Just go out and get better every night. That's it.
Did you feel like Austin started to get things going in that second half a little bit, just getting some minutes under his belt again?
Yeah, for sure. And it don't matter if it's one game or two. It's a rhythm thing. When you're on a rhythm and you get an injury or whatever the case may be, or it just takes a little bit more. It takes time to get back. So it took him a half to kind of get that rhythm going, get his feet up underneath him again. But he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
You guys got 28 games through the season before you lost consecutive games. Does that say anything about the character of this group?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously you don't want to keep stacking L's. That's for sure. So hopefully we can get back on the winning way soon.
Is there a reason why you think like that when the nights you guys haven't had it, you guys have really not had it? I don't think you guys have lost a close game still yet this season.
I don't know. I have no idea.
JJ, you've had a lot of games recently where the second half kind of pick things up and were able to either get back in the game or ultimately get the lead. What did you see different tonight in how Phoenix played?
They scored a half.
Did you see anything connecting those defensive possessions that wasn't to your liking?
They had about a 140 offensive rating. They had a 1.43 offensive rating when they touched the paint. So they touched the paint on every possession, basically. We couldn't keep them out of the paint.
You guys had that time where you had some practice time coming off the NBA Cup quarterfinal, and defense was a point of emphasis. How much was point of attack, perimeter defense, something that was diagnosed with the group? And when it's happening in real time, what are your kind of options as the coach?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly talk about containing the basketball at the point of attack, with our pickup points and, guarding your yard. Overall, the the sort of execution. You know, when your margin for error is not super high. You need to be able to. It's like very detailed to be able to execute, and when we do it, you know, we can string together some good defensive possessions. We didn't do that at all tonight, and you know, we tried zone. They got a layup and an open three. I don't know why we were guarding Mark Williams at the three-point line when they got the three, and didn't get the ball iced in pick and roll. On the second possession of zone, they got middle, didn't go under. They get a layup. So it's like, again, you don't do the things, you know, we're trying to do to sort of protect and keep the ball on the side, then you get exploited. And you know, I think we've had some games where we did things well, but I think, you know, the theme with our team again is like these young teams that move, we just can't move. So it's like we're stuck in mud. Zone didn't work, and then we went to a 15 in the second half, 1 through 5 switching, that didn't work. So at that point, you're out of options.
You guys, I think it's 28 games now. It's the first time all season you lost consecutive games. What does that say about kind of the character of your group, that you've made it more than a third of the season before this happened?
Well, the guys have been great about responding to challenges, whether that's been injuries, a loss, a poor performance. But, you know, it's got a lot of games left, so we got to continue that trend, and we got to stick together. I told the guys, I really just want them, you know, it's coming off these 2 games. You're not going to have a good taste in your mouth, and you're going to be thinking about how you played, how the team's playing. It's like I told them, detach tomorrow, be with your family, enjoy the holiday. You know, we'll all come with the right mentality on Christmas.
Just a quick follow-up. I know it's next man up, and you don't, you know, use excuses for guys being out, but I think this is 17 starting lineups now in 28 games.
It's weird because you guys kept asking me about the starting lineup in preseason.
And you predicted that it might be different.
So weird.
Take out I guess it's less about the starting lineup than just the rotation, like number of guys that
we've had 2 healthy games, yeah.
But so how much does that affect the 5 on a string, right? When it's a different lineup every night, and, you know, without, again, using it as an excuse.
I think there's probably a touch of that, but we practice this stuff enough. We review this stuff enough. We show film on this stuff enough that, you know, to me, it like comes down to, this is the noisiest press conference I've ever been a part of. It comes down to like just making the choice, you know, it's making the choice. There's shortcuts you can take, or you can do the hard thing, and you can make the second effort, or you can sprint back, or you can't. It's just a choice, and there's a million choices in a game, and you're very likely not going to make every choice correctly. But can you make the vast majority of them correctly? That gives you a chance to win.
How much of that, I wasn't going to ask this, but you brought it up. How much of that is like the conscious decision to make the choice versus just sort of like, this is who I am as a player, and I always make like the choice to play hard? Like, is there a difference between a team where you have to remind to be physical, to play hard, to play with intention, versus guys maybe like Phoenix? They have certain players, like I think a Goody, for instance, is like a guy who just, that's how he plays.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Does this group have enough, as currently constructed, of guys who just like play that way? And
no.
Can you, with the guys in that room, can you get enough consistent effort to get to where you guys need to be defensively?
I think so.
Kind of to that theme, I mean, you said it's one of your previous answers. You said you guys just don't have the foot speed to keep up with some of these young teams. To Dan's question, he was asking about just the effort. Is it more concerning when those choices, to your point, you said choices, when those choices just aren't being made consistently? Like that
it's not concerning. It's just, again, that's why I said it's the hard choice, and it's not the easy choice. It's human nature. We all do it. We do it on a daily basis. We make easy choices because it's comfortable. Comfortable doesn't win.
Dave asked about the ball containment. I was wondering more so about the off-ball or even the help defense. How would you evaluate not just tonight, but overall where you guys are at in terms of that area of defense, helping not just the initial help, but also helping the helper? It seemed like tonight.
Well, we had a guy the other day who hasn't played a lot who didn't know what a flood was in the middle of the game. So we're clearly, when we're not healthy and we haven't been healthy, we clearly have some room to grow in that area.
A little bit of housekeeping. Do you have an update on Jackson?
He tweaked his ankle soreness. He had tweaked it when we were here last week. So it just a retweak. He fell on it, and it's sore.
And what did you think of Austin's minutes?
It's hard to get. I mean, it was good to see him on the court. I'll just say that. It was good to see him on the court, and, I thought he had some nice drives.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.